Attack on Titan? More like Attack on Love. So what's up guys, Foxen here. So today let's have some fun tackling every Attack on Titan ship. So go ahead and also smash that like. If this does get over 9,000, you will see me suffering watching the live action Attack on Titan movie. You know you want to, so hit that like. But first, are you ready to duel? Say hello to ZenonZard, today's awesome sponsor. This is a new unique anime themed card game plus AI based. This means you get to fight right alongside your AI companion, including some waifus. Just take a quick personality interview. I got the idol AI. There's 16 total right now, and don't worry, there's guys too. What'll get you even more hyped is the actual anime for this. Totally free to watch. Any Megumin fans? Rei Takahashi is here. During your matches, your AI buddy will give you tips and strategy support. Using machine learning, the AI will grow with you. They'll even learn to play your style. The gameplay for this is pretty quick paced, only 3 phases: mana movement, flash, and main phase. The unique mana movement system allows you to use your minions as mana to summon your stronger minions. Oh yeah. On top of this, the game actually has some great effects for mobile. To build your deck, you got 500 different cards from 7 categories to mix and match. Feeling frisky? Why not ask your AI to build a deck for you? I trust in the heart of my idol. And you should too. If you're interested, you gotta join right now. During this July event, you could actually get 240 of the 500 cards available, which is freaking awesome. So, do you like card games? Link down below. This is free to play, and you're gonna be awesome by supporting the channel. You could go ahead and use the hashtag ZenonZardIC on Twitter and Facebook to connect with other players. Anyway, let the bloodbath begin, especially with some of these meals that come with 2 times the sausage. But really, this is meant to be a fun, light video. Kicking this off, of course, Eren and best girl Armin. It's practically Eren hooking up with Historia. In some ways, Eren may even be closer to Armin from the actual trio. I mean, Eren even went as far as choosing Armin over the dying Captain Erwin. That is some dedication to your bro. As to whether this actually had any realistic chances, Attack on Titan is this anime targeted at a shonen demographic, which pretty much says no. And you could go ahead and let me know your thoughts on this and any of the following ships. Who knows if this is even popular anymore? When it comes to anime, of course, you have people shipping almost anyone together. But something tells me this next pairing dwarfs pretty much anything regarding Eren, except for one, which is Eren plus Levi. Oh yeah, I'm sure you've seen the fan art online. When actually doing some research for Attack on Titan, you may be surprised to find out how often I run into fan pictures of these two. Although I actually do know what initially made this popular. Recall Levi just beating the crap out of Eren in the trial room scene. Oh yeah, sparks went flying on that day. This guy-on-guy pairing should be no surprise, at least if you know anything about anime shippers. You could bet that anyone making the Attack on Titan merch definitely is aware about this. Practically all of Attack on Titan merch is always Eren, Levi, or the combination of both. Either way, let me know your thoughts about this one. But of course, getting to the most mainstream couple, Mikasa plus Eren. Unless you're as dense as an anime character, this one should really be no surprise to anyone. I mean, you had the female Ackerman plus Mr. Yeager teased since Attack on Titan Season 1. Do both of these count as childhood friends? Going by anime tropes, you know what that means. Either way, going into Attack on Titan Season 2, you of course had the almost kiss scene. In the Uprising arc, you had Mikasa going full force forward to rescue her beloved princess. And then the two getting closer naturally by the end of Attack on Titan Season 3, really just going through all the events as they eventually got to the basement. It is kind of weird since I made so many videos about it already and made so many comments on other videos about it, but you still have some section of the Attack on Titan fan base that considers this incest or just weird since they quote-unquote grew up together. Which again, I do have to point out every time that they spent less than a year actually living together, and Mikasa didn't even get adopted officially into the Yeager family. So whether you want to see this pairing of this Ackerman plus Yeager together, it's not only become one of the most popular Attack on Titan pairings, but it feels like popular anime couples in anime overall just based on how big this series has gotten. If this doesn't happen, this is gonna actually ruin the series for a good chunk of people. Switching to a different side of Mikasa, one I recently mentioned, how about Mikasa plus blonde boy Armin? If the most popular endgame couple doesn't happen, I have mentioned this recently being my second choice, at least for these two individuals. Honestly, I really can't say that Mikasa and Armin had anything close to anything romantic in the actual series apart from just basic friendship type of stuff. On the other hand, this is another pair from the original trio. Armin should have spent a similar amount of time as Eren with Mikasa, potentially even more if you account for Season 4 events. And something just tells me Armin would treat Mikasa right. If anything, it may be Mikasa protecting the little blonde boy. Anyway, switching to a different Mikasa pairing with more flavor, getting the two Ackerman together, Mikasa plus Levi. This is actually one of the pairings that I know was really popular during the Attack on Titan Season 1 anime. Of course, this was before people knew that the two were distant relatives. Hell, at the time they didn't even know Levi's last name, him being an Ackerman. In the actual Attack on Titan story, these two have not really gotten along. If anything, they were really at odds since, Levi just beating up Eren in the middle of the courtroom. At least with the events of Attack on Titan Season 3, it seems like they were able to move past that and move forward. Although you still had Mikasa freaking attacking Levi that one time. I'm really just curious, does anyone still ship the two Ackerman? But wait, am I forgetting about someone? Mikasa plus the horse boy. If you go back to Season 1, you really had Jean expressing some type of interest in Mikasa, perhaps due to her unique features. And of course the guy was just pissed off and super jelly at Eren Yeager. I know a lot of you also haven't seen the OVA, but you did have that one time when Jean was freaking drawing Mikasa, so obviously there has been some interest. Although if I do want to be brutally honest, it does seem pretty one-sided. But let me know, would anyone want this to happen? I know if Eren and Mikasa do not happen, some people wouldn't mind this being the second place choice. And then one more with Mikasa, how about Mikasa plus blonde girl Annie this time? You know how there was tension between these two for the longest time. I mean, just try to picture that. That would be an interesting image in bed. It might be Annie taking up the charge. For anyone that's a fan of this Yuri pairing, unfortunately in the actual series there's almost nothing to go by. Both of these were always at odds unless you just consider that sexual tension. I do have a feeling that Mikasa never even visited Annie's crystal. Switching to Horse Boy for a split second, Jean plus Marco. Some of you did bring this ship up, but I don't know if you guys were just half serious on this one. Anyway, getting into something more concrete, Ymir plus Historia. Obviously, Ymir was pretty much full on Team Historia. Historia, on the other hand, I got a feeling that most likely she played on both teams. Whether something would have officially happened with Ymir, I definitely think some sort of relationship was possible. Unfortunately, you really just had the combo of Ymir taking that trip over to Marley, combine that with Historia soon taking the crown. If you actually consider the events of Ymir staying, I could actually see Historia being pressured into deciding between Ymir or being queen, aka being responsible for the people within the walls. And by the way, I know some of you are already typing, Ymir and Historia actually got officially confirmed. So let me just quickly clarify this since I've seen this spread around. Back in 2014, from a Crunchyroll article, there was a coverage from this convention in Germany. Supposedly this is where the two officially got confirmed to have been a couple. Couple things to keep in mind about this. This was a second-hand account. I couldn't actually find any audio or text of the Q&A. At the actual panel, this actually was not from Isayama, this was not from the Attack on Titan director, but it was a Q&A with the Attack on Titan producer / president of WIT Studio at the time, George Wada. All of this was back in 2014, years before Attack on Titan Season 2 even got made. And of course, all of this could probably just be its own video topic, but let me just say, I really don't have a horse in this race, but I do find some of this stuff questionable. I'll leave it to you to decide. Not to mention, Attack on Titan is a shonen targeted series. I was actually quickly trying to see if there was any shonen anime that had any same-sex couple, one that actually got officially confirmed in the story. Having said all of that, out of almost anything in this list, the pairing of Historia and Ymir is actually the closest thing we have to an actual official pairing. Next up, getting to Potato Girl Sasha plus Connie. I know some of you actually ship these two, although you could argue it was more like a sister-brother relationship. Either way, I do think there was actually potential in these two. They at least seem to be made for one another. On the other hand, for Sasha, instead of Connie, how about Sasha and Armin? I'm trying to think whether these two actually shared some deep moment in the series. Most of the stuff I'm actually picturing goes back to stuff from junior high. There also was a scene from Attack on Titan Season 3 of Armin catching Sasha snatching that potato. That feels like a deal breaker. Sticking with Armin for a second, how about Armin and Horseboy? As far as same-sex pairings go, this really shouldn't be a surprise. I actually do recall people shipping both of these together, or at least jokingly, when Armin was caring for Jean in the Attack on Titan Season 2 finale. Either way, for Sasha, really the true pairing should be Sasha and potato, Sasha and bread, or Sasha and meat. Really any food. Sticking with Armin for a second, how about Armin and Historia? Best Girl would practically be dating her twin. If you go back to Attack on Titan Season 1, Armin did share a moment with not Historia but Krista at the time. It was after getting attacked by the female Titan. As I'm thinking about it more and more, I'm not really convinced about this one. I don't think I've ever even seen any fan art for these two that's not just a complete joke. Next up, a different Yeager, Grisha Yeager. The guy had two freaking wives. First he had the royal blood Dina, then Carla later on. But getting a little serious about this, just going back and rereading the Attack on Titan story a few times already, it does feel like Grisha very much enjoyed his family. It seemed almost to the point of him forgetting what his actual mission was. Arguably, Grisha cared so much about not only Carla, but Eren and Mikasa, that if the warriors never attacked on that day, who knows, perhaps Grisha would have just stayed at home. Anyway, getting back to Armin, how about Armin and Annie? Of course, Annie didn't really come into the story until the final arc. Not talking about the female Titan. Both of these two did share their little moment. Armin making that request with her, a request for help. If you base anything off the events with the female Titan, you had Annie not straight out killing them, plus also almost sparing John at the call of Armin. Looking at Attack on Titan Season 3 events, perhaps not a pairing but a possible connection does further exist. You know, Armin taking the memories of the Colossal Titan. That brings up the next ship, Annie plus Bert. Wouldn't that be so wonderful, the female Titan plus Colossal Titan? I'm not sure how that would work. Of course, you know, Bert had some type of feelings towards Annie. On the flip side to this, it really just seemed to be one-sided. I mean, unless Annie got some type of confession, I really don't see Annie ever caring that much. This actually brings up a different pairing, Annie plus Eren Yeager. Unfortunately, you really only had limited time between both of these. The Attack on Titan Season 1 anime even cut out some extra moments that both of these two shared. On the flip side, the anime actually added that extra scene of Eren potentially not being able to perform when he found out that it was Annie as a female Titan. For any actual shipping feel for this, for Annie, you could also look at her Annie Lost Girl story. There, you actually had Hitch asking if she was going on a date, to which Annie replied, yeah, it's gonna be with a 15-meter Titan. Of course, you know what that means, but shipper logic. Anyway, for a weird one, Annie plus Reiner. I just don't see it. Not unless Isayama wants Reiner to suffer more. I could actually see this quickly becoming a one-sided abusive relationship. Anyway, getting into Levi Ackerman plus Hanji. After Mikasa and Eren, this feels like the second most popular ship. In some ways, chances may be higher for this one. Of course, both of these have had quite a history with each other. That includes a lot of stuff before ever running into Eren Yeager. Besides, it always seemed like Levi was a straight man to the crazy insane Hanji. Both of these two are already used to one another. So let me know down below, are you a fan of this ship? If you actually go back to Attack on Titan Season 1, of course, there was Levi plus Petra. The anime even added that dreaded scene of Petra's father, the poor guy talking about marriage. That really just made the wound sting even more. Whether this would actually happen if Petra didn't get squished, I'm not too sure about that. Not really due to Petra, but really more to Levi having much higher priorities. Which actually brings a different ship, Levi plus Commander Erwin. I could tell you there's been a lot of people shipping these two, especially with the Attack on Titan Season 3 events. Not to mention the whole Ackerman Master Bond thing. I mean, if you actually go back to the Levi special, Erwin is the whole reason that Levi is even in the freaking Survey Corps. For this one, for me, I'm just gonna leave it at a bromance. Feel free to let me know below if you think it's something more. Either way, for some of you, it will be Levi plus you. I know some of you want that ship. Whether it's you, Sarah, Tanya, Karen, Emily, or Susan. Anyway, switching to a warrior, Reiner plus Historia. I don't know if this is popular at all, but of course some type of sparks or interest has always been there, at least till Attack on Titan Season 2. But of course the ultimate ship for Reiner would be Reiner plus Death. What is this guy, Thanos? Unfortunately, Reiner can't have what he ultimately wants. As for some other ones, you had Marlowe plus Hitch. Hitch obviously has some feelings for Marlowe, and then you had Marlowe's final thoughts before dying being of her. That should really tell you something. Damn you, Beast Titan. And don't forget about Zachary plus a SM. Too bad that was so short-lived. I bet most anime-only people didn't even notice it. By the way, have you seen the live-action Attack on Titan? There was definitely some romance there. Definitely colossal smash that like to get this over 9,000. If that happens, I will be like Reiner and suffer making a video on this. Keep in mind, most Attack on Titan videos do go past that anyway, so let's try to make that happen within a week. Anyway, really quickly, do consider checking out ZenonZard. It is free to play, and no worries if you don't want to continue. Simply downloading it and checking it out does help to support the channel. But anyway, let me know, what's your top favorite couple in Attack on Titan? It doesn't have to be official. Give me your top 3 or top 5 if you can't decide. Go ahead and check out my previous SEO video and my video going into possible sequels for Attack on Titan. And I'll see you guys later.